They say repeating something 1,000 times doesn't make it real. But what if that were completely false? What if I told you that the words you repeat not only influence what you believe, but literally build the reality you live in? This isn't magic or superstition, it's science. And what you're about to discover could completely change the way you interact with the world. You don't need complicated rituals or years of training. You just need to understand how your mind works and how you can reprogram it to your advantage. Maybe you're thinking, another technique to attract good things? This isn't a simple positive affirmation or a fleeting motivational trick. It's a proven process that changes how your brain filters information and responds to opportunities. It's the same principle used by high-performance athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, and those people who seem to have a gift for attracting what they want. It's not luck, it's applied neuroscience. Imagine for a moment that your mind is a projector and your life is the movie. Everything you visualize and constantly repeat in your head becomes the image you see in front of you. It's not just about closing your eyes and wishing for a new car or a perfect relationship. The key is aligning your thoughts with what you truly expect to receive. Because here's the secret no one tells you. It's not enough to want it, you have to expect it. The problem is that most people are programmed for the opposite. They wake up every day expecting something to go wrong, that life is hard, that things don't change. And surprise, that's exactly what they experience. Not because the universe punishes them, but because their own perception filters reality to confirm what they believe. If you plant a seed of doubt, you'll get more uncertainty. If you water your mind with negative thoughts, what blooms is more of the same. Now imagine that before a job interview, instead of thinking, there are surely better candidates than me, you visualize yourself with total confidence, answering with clarity, seeing the person in front of you nodding in approval. It's not that those who believe in their success achieve it more easily. The mind adjusts your energy, your body language, and even the opportunities you perceive. It's not magic, it's science. The most interesting thing is that you don't need months to start seeing changes. In fact, you only need to repeat it 100 times. That's right, 100 repetitions of a mental image, an idea, a desired outcome. Because every time you repeat, you reinforce a neural pathway. And the more you reinforce it, the more real it becomes to your brain. And when something becomes real in your mind, reality has no choice but to align. This is where many people fail. They say affirmations like, I'm successful, but deep down they don't believe it. And if you don't believe it, it doesn't work. The key isn't in repeating just to repeat, but in feeling it as if it were already happening. Remember the excitement of expecting something you knew was coming? Like when you were a kid and they promised you a gift. You didn't doubt it, you didn't question it, you just expected it with certainty. That emotion is what you need to recreate. It's not enough to want it, you have to expect it with absolute certainty. The difference between those who achieve what they want and those who stay dreaming isn't in the intensity of their desires, but in the strength of their expectations. Desire can spark the flame, but genuine expectation is what keeps the fire burning. Think of someone who wants to improve their financial life. If they only desire it, they'll probably stick to the same old habits. But if they truly expect it, their way of acting changes. They start moving with different energy, seeking opportunities, making decisions aligned with that new reality they already feel is theirs. This principle isn't new. Ancient civilizations already spoke of the power of repetition and the connection between the mind and the physical world. Today, neuroscience confirms it. When you repeat something with the right emotion, your brain starts operating differently. You stop seeing obstacles and begin noticing paths. And if you're wondering how to apply this to your life, don't worry. You don't need to do anything complicated. It's not about long meditation sessions or difficult exercises. It's about making a small adjustment to your routine. Choose an affirmation, a visualization, an idea, and repeat it 100 times. Sounds simple, right? It is. But most people don't do it because they're trapped in the mental programming of the past. The biggest obstacle isn't the technique, but the resistance to believing something so simple can work. This is where action comes in. If you just watch this video and think, sounds interesting, nothing will change. But if you decide to try it today, you might be surprised at how quickly signs start appearing in your favor. So tell me, What's the first thing you'll start repeating 100 times? Write it in the comments because I want to know. And if this resonates with you, if you feel it's time to take control of your reality and start programming your mind consciously, then make sure to subscribe. There's a lot more content that will help you understand how this process works and how you can apply it to every area of your life. But it doesn't end here, because there's a key detail many overlook, and it's what makes this technique work or fail. In the next part, I'll reveal what that blind spot is that most ignore and how to avoid falling into the trap of self-sabotage. Stay with me, because this is just the beginning. Now that you understand the power of repetition and how it can shape your reality, it's time to talk about the mistake most people make without realizing it. Because yes, many try to apply this but fail, not because the technique doesn't work, but because they fall into the trap of self-sabotage. And the worst part is they don't even notice they're doing it. Here's the truth. If you repeat something, but deep down don't believe it, you're just forcing doubt. This is what separates those who manifest what they want from those who stay stuck in the same place. It's not enough to say, I have success, if your body and mind scream the opposite. The real key is that repetition must be loaded with genuine emotion and conviction. Think about this. When you recall a moment of extreme happiness, do you do it coldly or with intensity? You feel the emotion, right? Your body responds, your mind relives those details. Well, the same happens with what you want to manifest. If you just repeat it mechanically, it won't work. But if you manage to feel it as real, you're reprogramming your entire system to align with that reality. This is where the difference between desiring something and truly expecting it comes in. Desire is a passing thought, but expectation is a powerful force that shapes your actions, your body language, and even the energy you give off. It's why some people seem to have incredible luck while others stay stuck in the same cycle. If you're not achieving what you want, ask yourself, am I expecting it or am I just desiring it? Because if you only desire it, your subconscious will keep finding reasons to prove it's not possible. But if you expect it with certainty, your mind will tune into that new reality and start finding ways to make it tangible. The problem is that most people have been programmed to expect the opposite. Since childhood, we've heard phrases like, money doesn't grow on trees, life is hard, or opportunities are for the few. And without realizing it, these ideas get embedded in our subconscious, affecting everything we think and do. So before you can manifest something new, you need to break that old programming. And here, I'll show you how to do it. The first step is identifying which beliefs are limiting you. It's easy to figure out. Just notice how you react when you think about what you want. If deep down you feel resistance, doubt, or discomfort, it's because there's an internal program blocking the process. Maybe you think success is for others, that true love is hard to find, or that only certain people can achieve abundance. Those beliefs have been there for years, operating in the background, determining what you expect from life. The second step is consciously challenging those beliefs. Ask yourself, is this really true, or is it just an idea I've accepted without questioning? Because many times we live under rules we didn't even choose. Maybe someone told us we weren't good enough, or that certain dreams were impossible, and we accepted it without realizing it. But what would happen if you decided you no longer want to live by those rules? This is where the power of repetition comes in, not just to create new beliefs, but to tear down the old ones. Imagine that for years you've mentally repeated, I'm not good at this. That phrase has been like a seed growing in your mind. But now with conscious repetition, you can plant a new seed, one that says, every day I get better at this. And by repeating it with emotion, with vivid images, with the certainty that it's true, your mind will start replacing the old with the new. But there's more. There's a crucial element that separates those who transform their reality from those who stay trapped in the same story. And it's something so simple yet so powerful that if you apply it correctly, you could see results in a matter of days. That element is aligned action. Because yes, visualization and repetition are powerful tools, but if you don't take a single step toward what you want, it all stays up in the air. You can't visualize yourself fit if you keep eating poorly. You can't expect wealth if you keep making decisions that push abundance away. You can't attract a healthy relationship if you keep surrounding yourself with toxic ties. This is where many fail. They think positive thinking alone is enough, but they forget that the mind and body need to be in sync. When you start acting like the person who already has what you desire, when your habits reflect that new reality, that's when everything starts moving in your favor. And this is where repetition takes it to another level. It's not just about repeating phrases in your mind, it's about reinforcing them with small daily actions. If you repeat that you're successful, but your routine stays the same as always, your mind will know there's a contradiction. But if you start making small changes that reinforce that idea, every action becomes tangible proof that the new belief is real. That's why if you really want this method to work, you need to align what you think, what you say, and what you do. Imagine for a moment that everything you've wanted is already on its way, that it's not a distant possibility but an absolute certainty. How would you act if you knew what you desire was already secured? How would you move through the world? How would you speak? That's the key, adopting the mindset of someone who's already achieved it, not from desire, but from genuine expectation. And if you still doubt this works, test it yourself. Take a few minutes today and choose an affirmation that represents what you really want. Not just any affirmation, but something you can feel is real. Then repeat it 100 times with total intention, with emotion, with certainty. And afterward, notice how you feel. Because here's the most fascinating part. When you start reprogramming your mind, your environment starts changing too. What used to go unnoticed suddenly becomes obvious. Opportunities you ignored before now appear in front of you. The people around you change. Your way of acting changes. But for all this to work, there's one last ingredient few talk about. A factor that can either speed up this whole process or completely sabotage it. And in the next part, I'll tell you what that crucial detail is and how to avoid letting it stall your progress. If all this is resonating with you, if you feel it's time to take control of your mind and start manifesting with intention, then subscribe and turn on notifications. Because what's coming in the next part is what will make the difference between seeing real changes or staying trapped in the same patterns. See you in the last part, because the best is still to come. Now that you understand how repetition shapes your reality, how expectation outweighs mere desire, and why it's crucial to align thought, emotion, and action, there's one final element left. It's the one that can make all this work in your favor or ruin it completely. That element is your environment. Because it's no use reprogramming your mind if you live surrounded by negativity, by people who fill you with doubts, by news that only reinforces fear and scarcity. Your mind is powerful, yes, but it's also malleable. And if you spend your day absorbing negative messages, all your effort to change your mental programming will be affected. Maybe it's happened to you. You wake up motivated, determined to think positively. But as soon as you step outside, you hear bad news, meet people who only complain, or face situations that seem to confirm your old beliefs. And in a matter of minutes, all that positive energy disappears. It's not a coincidence. It's the result of your environment's influence on your perception. Your mind is like an antenna. What you tune into is what you reinforce. If you're surrounded by limiting thoughts, your brain will adjust to that frequency. But if you surround yourself with positive stimuli, with information that reinforces what you want to manifest, with people who believe in possibilities instead of obstacles, then everything becomes easier. That's why it's essential to create what I call a reality bubble. It's not about ignoring what's happening around you, but about consciously choosing what you let into your mind. And here's a key question. How do you start your day? If your first impulse is to check your phone, watch the news, or dive into negative conversations without realizing it, you're already programming your day with a frequency that can sabotage you. Instead, if you decide that the first minutes of your morning will be dedicated to reinforcing what you want to manifest, everything changes. Try this. Instead of consuming random content when you wake up, choose something that nourishes you mentally. An inspiring audio, a visualization, a repetition exercise. Create the energy you want to carry through the day. Because if you don't, the world will do it for you, and not always in your favor. And it's not just about what you hear or see. Your physical environment matters too. Have you noticed how a messy space makes you feel more drained? How a dark or chaotic room affects your mental state? It's not a coincidence. Your space is a reflection of your mind, and your mind is a reflection of your space. If you really want to transform your reality, make small changes to your environment. Organize your workspace, adjust what you see in your room, place visual reminders of your goals. You don't need big changes. Just make sure your environment reinforces what you want to manifest instead of blocking it. Now, here's something even more important. The people you surround yourself with. Your circle influences your life more than you realize. If you're constantly around people who think in terms of limitations, you'll likely end up adopting their way of seeing the world. But if you surround yourself with people who see opportunities, who believe in growth, who've achieved what you desire, your mindset will expand too. And I know a question comes up here, but what if my environment is negative and I can't change it? The answer is simple. Protect your mind. If you can't change your environment right away, do this. 1. Reduce the time you spend in negative conversations. You don't have to absorb everything others say. 2. Carefully choose the information you consume. Fill your mind with content that reinforces your goals. 3. Visualize an energy barrier around you before interacting with people who might drain you. Imagine a light protecting you and mentally repeat, "Nothing external affects my inner state." These small changes can make a big difference because in the end, the only person who truly defines your reality is you. And here's the most fascinating part. When you start changing your mental frequency, often the environment changes too. It's as if negative people naturally drift away, as if new opportunities appear out of nowhere. But it's not magic. It's because your mind is now tuned to a different frequency. Now there's something else I want you to understand. Something that can make the difference between just knowing this information and actually applying it. Most people hear ideas like this and think, "Makes sense, I should try it," but then go back to their routines and do nothing about it. Don't be one of those people. If you really want to change your life, you have to act. Here's a challenge, something simple but powerful. For the next 7 days, choose an affirmation, a visualization, or an idea you want to reinforce and repeat it 100 times a day. It can be out loud in your mind or even writing it down. But do it with intention, not as a mechanical exercise, but feeling it as if it's already real. And watch what happens. You'll be surprised at how quickly your mind starts adjusting its perception, how you'll begin noticing things you ignored before, how unexpected situations will start aligning with you. Because when you align your mind with what you desire, everything around you starts to respond. And here's the final step. Share your commitment. Don't keep this just to yourself. Write in the comments what affirmation or visualization you'll repeat. Because when you share what you'll do, you reinforce your decision and boost your commitment. And if you want to keep exploring how your mind can transform your reality, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because there's a lot more content that will help you master this process and apply it to every area of your life. Remember, this isn't about luck. It's not about waiting for miracles. It's about taking control of your mind and creating the reality you truly desire. So tell me, are you ready to start? With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.